Right now, you are the only kind of human left alive on this planet. One species standing by itself at the top of everything. That feels as ordinary as the ground under your feet, and you would assume it has always been this way. But it has not. For almost the entire story of our kind, the Earth was never once down to a single human. The planet held several at the same time, different species of us, sharing the same valleys, the same cold, the same fires. A lone human world is not the natural order of things. It is the strange new exception, and it is barely a moment old. Go back 50,000 years, a single blink in deep time, and at least 4 kinds of human were alive in the same moment. By most counts, 5. Neanderthals held the cold of Ice Age Europe. Somewhere out east lived the Denisovans. On the island of Flores, a tiny people whose grown adults stood barely waist-high to us. Another kind walked the forests of Luzon. And then there was us, 5 ways of being human, breathing the same air. Today that number is 1. So what happened to the other 4? The comfortable answer is that we were the clever ones and they were knuckle-dragging brutes who had it coming. That answer is wrong. Neanderthal brains were as large as ours and often larger. They built tools, controlled fire, painted on cave walls, and buried their dead with care. Tens of thousands of years before we tell ourselves civilization began. This was not a rough first draft of a human, it was another finished one. So if it was not a matter of raw intelligence, what erased them? Start with the part nobody expects. We did not arrive to find them already gone. Instead, our kind moved in next door. When the first of us pushed up out of Africa, the Neanderthals had already ruled the Ice Age north for hundreds of thousands of years. The 2 species overlapped on the same continent for thousands of years, hunting the same animals across the same frozen ground. And across all that time, the balance quietly tipped one way. There was no single war. No one day it ended. In the year 2021, a team led by Vaesen asked the researchers who study this for a living what really finished the Neanderthals. The answer that came back was not a weapon. It was arithmetic. Our numbers grew, and theirs did not. We carried wider networks, longer supply lines, more children surviving each winter. A slightly larger, slightly better connected population, pressing in generation after generation, is enough on its own to push a smaller one off the edge of the world. We never had to hunt them down. Outlasting them was enough, the one trick we have always been best at, and it very nearly went the other way for us too. A study published in 2023 argued that our own ancestors once crashed almost to nothing, down to around 1,300 breeding individuals, and stayed that low for more than 100,000 years, some 900,000 years ago. Other geneticists are still fighting over whether the method holds, but if the number is even close to right, then everything you are was squeezed through the eye of a needle. We are not the species that could never lose. Ours is the line that barely got through. Here is the part that should change the way you look at your own hands. The other humans did not all simply vanish. Some of them we took in. When our species met the Neanderthals, we did more than compete with them. We had children with them. When the first full Neanderthal genome was read in the year 2010, it carried a shock. Read the DNA of almost anyone alive today outside Africa, and it is right there, between 1% and 4% Neanderthal, stitched permanently into the code. That same year, a single finger bone from a cave in Siberia revealed a second lost human that nobody had ever even named. The Denisovans. Travel to the islands north of Australia, and their share of the code climbs higher still, up to roughly 5%. Those vanished humans are not only extinct, they are also, in part, your ancestors. You are a living blend of the winners and some of the lost. So sit for a second with what that makes you. Not the natural winner of a fair contest, the last one left standing in a fight you do not even remember entering. Every other kind of human had a brain, a fire, a name it gave its dead, and a claim on the future every bit as real as yours. They are gone. And the reason you have never once met another kind of human, never shaken a hand that belonged to another species, is that Our kind does not share a planet. We close the gap the way we always have. You feel ordinary only because there has been nobody else standing here for 40,000 years to measure yourself against. For 6 million years, the family tree of humans was a crowded thing. Branch after branch, kind after kind, the planet was never once short of ways to be human. We are the moment that crowd fell silent. One twig, on its own, calling the empty quiet around it normal. No other large animal on Earth sits this alone in its own genus, every cousin it ever had lying in the ground. We are the ones who emptied the branches, and we have been alone with the result ever since. So the next time the world feels too quiet, you might remember why it is. You were never the chosen ending of the story. What you are is its survivor. The one kind of human that outbred, outwalked, and outlasted every other version of itself, until there was no one left to stand beside. The others are not myths. They are footnotes now, written into the rock and into your blood. Mind the footnotes, because there is a darker one still coming. Long after the last of the others was gone, the sky itself turned on us. When a single mountain in Sumatra blew itself apart and very nearly finished off the kind of human that was left, next time, the long winter that almost ended you.